Yo, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. My name is Legendary Luke and I'm here to bring you a Season 13 Saviors Apex Legends Ranked Guide. I'm going to start with some broader advice and things that I've noticed and then move into more narrow focused down strategies and tips. I even included a few bonus tips at the end. The reason that I really wanted to make this video is that Season 13 has come with the hardest rank system yet. The rank system has been completely revamped and changed. And with that come changes you have to make to your gameplay to be successful. I'm not going to spend too much time explaining the changes they did make because I want to save more time for the actual strategies and tricks, but I do want to give you an idea of what they reworked. As you may have noticed, they added a new feature called participation points. If your teammates get a kill in which you did not assist in getting that kill, you will still get 50% of the KP. In addition, kill points are now tied to placement. They will start out as very little if you get kills in the early game, but as you move towards the end game and keep surviving, they will actually grow in the amount of RP they are worth. The kill cap has also been removed, however the first 3 eliminations are worth about 100%, and then the subsequent 3 are worth about 80%, and anything after that is worth about 20%. They also took away the third-party bonus where you could finish a downed player, and if the team that knocked that player was dead, you would get the kill point. Pretty much as a consequence to all of these rank changes, the system has just gotten way harder and people are struggling to play ranked and gain RP way more. I saw a stat yesterday that said 95% of ranked players are now gold 2 or lower. I've overall just seen a lot of people complaining and struggling with the new system. Lobbies are way more sweaty than ever before. Even in silver ranks, there's 8 teams left in the 4th ring. Solo queuing feels more impossible than ever before, and in addition to that, there's the new frustration of being able to D-rank. I think all of this has led a lot of players to think that they are worse than they actually are, and many are just quitting ranked altogether. But don't worry, gaining RP in this rank system is totally doable. You just might have to make some adjustments to how you play ranked. The first big thing, which I know you've heard before, but is more important now than ever, is playing for the end game. The new system rewards survival way more than kills. Kills are pretty much worth nothing in the early game because of how the way the system is set up. You have to survive far into the game to make your kills count for something. So pretty much if you aren't surviving, you aren't gaining RP. Everything relies on placement, and it's almost impossible to play aggressive after gold rank. And even then, W keying is just not a viable strategy for gaining RP in any rank. I'm going to go into more detailed strategies later, but for now, know that ranked is way more like ALGS, which is the Apex Legends Pro League. There are a bunch of teams left in the final rings because surviving is the main priority. Placement over kills. Even third partying got a nerf and is not as good as it used to be. So that sounds great, but how do you actually survive in these lobbies? The main advice I can give you is to choose a playstyle. With ranked becoming more like ALGS, adapting to play like an ALGS team is useful. And what ALGS teams do is they specialize and choose a strategy. They become either edge teams or zone teams. These two strategies originated with the ALGS and have been around for as long as the Apex Legends competitive scene has been a thing. The goal is to have a strategy even before you go into the game, which helps survivability through specializing. Traditionally, what's called zone teams have been what's made up most of the ALGS scene. TSM used to be the main utilizer of this strategy and it led them to a lot of success. The basic idea is that your team loots up quickly and rotates quickly. A zone team wants to quickly find a power position in which will be in the ring until the end of the game. This strategy definitely can have variation, but for the most part, you at least want one defensive legend and one beacon legend. Your defensive legend should be someone like Watson, Caustic, or Rampart, who you can use to fortify and lock down a specific area. The beacon legend just has to be one of those recon legends that can scan the beacon and let you know where the next ring is. It really doesn't matter who this legend is, but Valkyrie is really good this season, and you can also use her ult to leave a POI early. How your game should go if you are a zone team is you should land and immediately hit the beacon. This will give you knowledge on where and how quickly you need to go. Keep in mind, you need to be looting fast for this to work. The whole goal is getting to a power position before anyone else. For that, you need to rotate as early and quickly as possible, using tridents, legend abilities, pretty much anything you can. If you land at the same POI every game, which I do sometimes recommend with this strategy, you can start to get a loot path which will hurry the process. Since you have a beacon scanned, you should know where to go to be safe for the next several rings. You then use your defensive legend to fortify the area and make sure that no one can push you easily. After locking it down, you should be set to just watch other teams die and wait for the endgame. Some other recommended tactics I have for a zone team is to bring Loba. Loba will give you the utility to loot your original POI quickly, which is key for a zone team. She also gives you the ability to collect loot while you're in your fortified position, because you're kind of just stuck in the same spot for sometimes several rings. Fuse is also pretty good for an early rotate zone team. He pretty much gives you great utility to use in endgames, and if you are a zone team, then you will be making it to a lot of endgames. Snipers are also a really great thing to take. They allow you to level up your evo while sitting in a power position, and usually you will get some free KP off of them because you will be in a good spot to watch other teams fight where you can just third and poke for free kills. If you're going to be a zone team, I would also recommend you land centrally on the map. This makes it so no matter the zone pull, you won't be too far away and you can get there relatively quickly no matter where it is. Overall, being a zone team and playing zone is a great reliable tactic with a lot of upsides. The other kind of strategy you can be using for success is that of an edge team. It's pretty much the opposite of a zone team. You land at an edge POI, take a super long time to loot up, and walk into the zone late. The main upside is you do end up getting a lot more looted up than that of the zone teams. Historically, this strategy has not been used as much. However, right now, I think that being an edge team is the way to go in ranked. Me personally, I've been playing edge and having an absolute blast this season. It's some of the most fun I've had in ranked since the OG days of Apex. I also think that it fits for more people. For solo queuers, it's way more doable, and it's a lot more similar to what the average player is used to. So how do you actually be an edge team? First off, you land at the edge of zone. From there, you should get very looted up. The first 2 rings should be filled with you and your team looting and leveling evos. Don't even be afraid to take ring damage to keep looting. Actually, this is a common trick used by edge teams. In rings 1 and 2, the zone won't be doing enough damage to punish you for staying inside of it. Just keep some spare meds and you'll be fine. A replicator is also pretty useful so you can craft medkits. Also, you won't run the risk of running into anyone back there, so it's actually a pretty safe strategy. Split up and loot separately if you're sure there's no one around you. The goal is to get the best loot possible. If you do see another team on the outskirts of zone, you can engage them. An upside to this strategy is that you can get isolated team fights without being third-partied. Just be mindful of other teams around you and how long you have to rotate. You can also hold other teams. It's a really common thing for pros to do. You find a choke or high ground and fight other teams as they rotate into zone. During the end of the second ring or sometime during the third ring, you should start looking for a power position. A place which will be in zone and where you can play the rest of the game in. You should be fully looted up, perhaps with a few KP and ready for a successful endgame. Some recommendations and tips I have for edge teams are 1. Use replicators. You should hit at least 1 replicator during your time looting, and you can even use that to upgrade your evo shield. Gibraltar and Valkyrie, although not required, are very strong picks for edge teams. Gibby's Dome just provides some safety and a chance to reset while in chaotic positions. And Valkyrie's ultimate is just pretty much invaluable, letting you escape fights or really just get out of anything. I sometimes don't recommend playing edge, but I feel like this split was made for it. There are a lot of teams alive and congested in the middle zone, so avoiding that is often your best bet. Also, Stormpoint is pretty much a perfect map for playing Edge. It's a big map where Edge POIs have plenty of loot, and tridents allow for easy and fast rotates and looting. Which is a good segue into our next section, which is the drop in early game. I feel like the early game is almost more important this season than ever before. Since getting kills is just not worth it in the early game, you should be trying to land solo as much as you can. The best way to do this is by using free look and see where others are landing. You can see which POIs are being heavily contested and which POIs have no one going to them. Definitely don't be afraid to land at a POI late if you see no one is going there. Even when you're flying in, you should still be looking at the POIs near you so you can see if anyone's landing there. If there's no one, it might be best just to land there. What you should not do is just wait until the end to jump thinking that no one else will. I think everyone uses that same logic in ranked, so actually there's usually more people at the end jumping than at the beginning. Stormpoint has 18 named POIs, plus a few unnamed ones, so you should have no troubles getting an uncontested drop spot all for yourself. In addition to that, they just reworked Stormpoint and made POIs way more viable, especially on Edge. The mill, fish farms, the wall, and down beast are all great places to drop this season. But literally any POI is viable, so I would just make your main priority landing with you, your team, and no one else. Season 13 also saw the addition of armories. Armories are pretty overpowered and you should definitely be trying to utilize them as much as possible. The specters that spawn in them allow for easy evo leveling. It's quite possible to go from a white to a purple just by doing the armory challenge. They also give insane loot. The reward for beating all of the specters are numerous smart loot bins. These smart loot bins contain upgraded versions of items you need. These armories are super powerful and you should be using them as much as you can, especially in ranked. To go along with that, Stormpoint just has a lot of ways to level your evo without actually getting into fights. There's the specters and armories, the prowlers found around the map, flyers that carry loot boxes, and replicators. There is no excuse for having nothing less than a purple armor by the time Zone 2 rolls around. And that also just takes away another reason or incentive to be fighting in early game, so you shouldn't feel like you have to be fighting in early game to get a good evo shield. There's other ways of doing that. So for the final section, I just wanted to touch on a few bonus tips. In ranked season 13, rats are probably more common than ever before. They are running rampant and are literally almost everywhere, around every corner you look and in every endgame. And for that, I say run a recon legend. A recon legend will allow you to locate rats and exterminate them for the easiest KP of your life. To be more specific with this, Seer is really great for finding and locating rats. You can just be using his passive heartbeat, which is literally the perfect rat detection tool. It will let you know if anyone is in the area and can be used literally whenever. My next tip is that Newcastle is not invincible like people play him. All of the Newcastles that I face are way too confident. I think this is because of a lack of understanding of how his abilities work. His shield actually has a health bar and can be destroyed fairly easily. If you see a Newcastle out on the open relying on his shield, it is the easiest thing in the world to just shoot it down. Just make a quick call to your teammates, teamfire the shield, and you'll have that Newcastle dead in one clip. His ult isn't exactly a brick wall either, just 2 punches and it's destroyed. I mentioned this before, but the kill cap was removed in season 13. However, don't let this fool you because there still pretty much is a kill cap. It's just more of a soft kill cap. Like I mentioned before, the first 3 kills are worth 100% RP. The second are worth 80% and any after that are only worth 20%. Most of the time, that just means a couple of RP per kill, which is not worth it at all. Only 6 kills is necessary, so I would still play like 6 kills is the kill cap. Because anything after that is going to be worth so little it almost doesn't really matter. The last thing that I want to mention is that this season, ranked is just way harder than any other season. Especially last season. We went from the easiest season of ranked to the hardest. So don't give up or feel like you've gotten worse just because you're struggling a little bit in this season. Ranked is going to be a grind this season, and it will take longer. But I believe if you follow my strategies and implement what I've talked about in this video, it should be a lot more doable. And you might even find yourself enjoying it along the way. I think that these stacked and intense endgames can be really fun, especially when you're consistently making it to the endgame. If you enjoyed this video, I would highly encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I will probably be making some more videos soon that you won't want to miss. Maybe even a full in-depth solo queue guide. I really hope you enjoyed the whole video, and thank you for watching.